Hello, lovely people, and welcome to Philanthropic February, day 12. I'm Nicola, this is Stitches and Slapdashery, and today I'm taking a bit of a break from the sewing. Wanted a bit of a change of pace, so I thought I would do some more beading. I'm going to use some of the beads I bought recently to make a couple of just really basic bracelets. There's just going to be a couple of strings of really colourful beads. And also I'm going to use a pair of the mushroom beads to make a couple of stitch markers for crocheting. I've got some small lobster clasps and I'm not sure how they're going to turn out, but I'm hoping they're going to look fun. And I was thinking that seeing as I am doing the giveaway, which is in day 7 of this series, and I am going to be making a pair of mushroom earrings for somebody, I would put one of the bracelets in that little parcel as well. So let's get started. I'm going to start on some stitch markers first. Now, I'm pretty sure in the comments I got on day 7 that nobody said they wanted the white mushrooms, so I'm going to use those today. And that means that pretty much any of these beads can go with those because there's going to be no clash. Sometimes clashing is good, right? And now I just need to figure out what I want to put with it. I think the plan here is I have these two little lobster clasps and I have a couple of small split rings, which thankfully I have the tool for. Those are horrible sometimes to get open, but I have a little tool here that has a teeny little tooth that opens that. So I'm very happy about that. And I've got a couple of earring, whatever you call them, straight bits making earrings. I can't remember if there's a special name for that. They're not very long, so these are not going to be super dangly. So I'm just going to dive in here. I think I'm going to skip the little teeniest seed beads, maybe, and just use the larger ones, but that may change at any moment. Let me see, do I want to put a little rainbow on there? I don't know if I've got enough room for a rainbow. They can be completely different because they don't have to be a matching pair. I'm just using them for... Ooh! Okay, this one's a bit of a dud. I don't know if you can see that if I hold it really up close to the camera. Ooh, that went really yellow. That hole at the top is not properly drilled through. Oh, well, that's annoying. Oh, okay, it pushes through from the top, so in theory I should be able to push it through from the bottom as well. It's just really, really tiny. Ah, I made it. Well, that's a relief. Yeah, I'm really not going to have much room to put stuff on these ones. I think I might use the longer posts. I've got some different ones here. The more coloured beads I can fit on there, the better. Whoops. So it's another beautiful sunny morning out. It was another cold night, but it's supposed to be a pretty mild day. My two sons who work for the same company finished work really early today. They had to drive down south for a little ways and just finish up a job. And they were done within a couple of hours. So they've got the rest of the day off, which is nice. All right, let's do this one with some different colours. So I put a green one on there. And now I am going to put maybe an orange one at the bottom of the other one. Okay, that went through okay. Well, that's a relief. What other colours have I got here? I've got blue. And I have orange. Oh. And yellow. That's kind of cute. And then this one needs 3 more beads as well, so we'll do a red and turquoisey one. I have the regular plastic stitch markers, of course, for my crochet, but it's so much more fun having something that you made yourself that's a little bit different, a bit out of the ordinary, shall we say. Green. I think green. And now what I need to do, I need to trim that and then put a little hook on the top. I'm going to have to be really careful to make sure there isn't a bit of wire sticking out to catch when it's on my yarn, because I do not want to have little fuzzy bits getting pulled out of my work. Whoops. I do have work later. But not till this afternoon, so I've got plenty of time to get this done without rushing. Right, I've curled that around and tried to snug it up as much as possible. So now I just need to open one of these split rings. Okay, I think I mutilated that one. I did. I squeezed the centre part of it instead of getting between the 2 outer bits of metal. That's not good. So if you haven't watched day 7's video yet, make sure to go back and watch it so that you can enter the giveaway. Actually, you know what? I think I'm supposed to be doing it from the side. Ah, there we go. I was doing it wrong. Been a while. There we are. So it just pulls that outer little piece of metal away from its neighbour so that you can thread something on. So now I can get this onto here. This is why my nails and my cuticles are always a mess, because I don't look after them very well. Don't really care about them as long as they're not catching on stuff. Now if I keep going, it's going to come right off the end, isn't it? Hang on, I think there's something wrong here. Okay, that's the wrong sort of attachment, I guess. Okay, after all that faffing about with the split ring, I realised that was the wrong kind of attachment, because when I threaded this onto the split ring, it just went around and then shot off the other side. So I've managed to find a couple of things that are literally just a ring so that I can open it up. That's what I need. I was using completely the wrong thing. So now I can just Whoops, drop it again because it's so small. Thread it on, and then I can thread this guy on. Oh, well, that was a lot easier, wasn't it? Wow, that was a duh moment. I don't think I have very many of those little plain rings. I have mostly split rings. Now I'm wondering why I bought so many of them. There. So it's got its little clasp on for attaching to a stitch, and then just a circle ring so that it dangles nicely. If I had put this straight onto the lobster claw, it probably wouldn't have hung very neatly, or it would have got stuck in funny positions. So I think that's probably the best solution. Okay, so I have another one of those there. These split rings are going back in my container. Honestly, Nicola, that was just lack of thinking. Okay, let's get this guy done. All done. I'm going to add that to my project bags when I'm doing a crochet project. If I wanted knitting ones, I'd need much larger things on the top. I could use like a fixed ring, but it would have to be quite a bit bigger, depending on the size of my knitting needle, of course. I mean, I've got these split rings here, which would work for a smaller needle, but I'd have to use something bigger for a larger needle. So I'm not making knitting ones right now, but that's kind of fun. So we'll put those aside for a minute, and then I'm going to get out my 1mm Stretch Magic and thread a bunch of these on. Now, I think the last time I made a bracelet, I decided I needed, hold on, I need a tape measure. Can't find my tape measure, so I'm just going to use my quilting ruler. What I found easier last time is to cut this longer than I needed it. So I've got enough to knot it, because otherwise I'm struggling with a too short piece of elastic. So I've cut that at about 10 inches, and then I'm going to fill it with about 7 inches of beads. Yep, I think that's a good plan. And I'm not going to overthink the order of my beads too much. Maybe I will just dip into the beads and see what I come up with. As long as they're not the same. Ah! This is going to take a while because these beads are tiny. Although not as tiny as those really minute seed beads. Actually, I'm going to try an experiment. I'm going to see whether these little seed beads will fit on here. No, they won't. So if I want to use the seed beads, I am going to have to use my 1/2 mil Stretch Magic. Apologies if you can see the top of my head, along with that lovely regrowth. Honestly, somebody surprised me yesterday. So I felt like I probably had, with all this regrowth since I decided to start growing my hair out, I've been looking at my hair and trying to figure out exactly what color it's coming out and whether it's mostly grey or what. And somebody said to me yesterday, "Oh, your hair is so pretty, and you're getting this lovely steel grey coming through." And I'm like, really? Am I really? And I thought, okay, I know I've got a lot of silver strands in there, but I wasn't really sure about what the colour of my hair looked like on the regrowth area. It's hard to tell. So it's a bit of a surprise. I do need to check whether I have some hair colour left in the bathroom cabinet. But if I do, I can just brighten up the ends, which were bleached a long time ago and coloured. Nope, those are too tiny. That's a shame. I like that purpley colour. Where am I at? Maybe we're due for a green. So there's my approximately 7 inches of beads, and now I just have to knot it. What I usually do is I do it 3 times. So a square knot, as tight as you dare, and then one more, and snip off the excess. Because it's stretchy, it just goes on your hand and sits like that. Nice and simple. So I think I'll make another one for myself off camera, and then that'll be it. I decided to make myself a rainbow one because I love rainbows. I like to show my allyship and the LGBTQ and all those other letters community. Feel like the letters are changing a lot, so I don't want to say it wrong, but you know what I mean. The stuff sometimes just doesn't seem to want to make a knot. Very springy. The dot of clear glue probably wouldn't hurt on this, actually. There we go, got it. So yeah, you do end up cutting a little bit off and wasting a little bit, but it's so much less frustrating if you've got something to grab onto. There, I'm going to put that on and leave it on for the day. Doesn't really go with the plaid shirt, but who cares? Yeah, I'm really enjoying these brightly coloured beads. They're just so fun. And then what I probably will do once I've made the draw winner's pair of mushroom earrings, I'll know which colours I can then play with in here. Maybe make myself another item of jewellery with a different coloured mushroom. So I will leave this with my little tub of mushrooms so that I don't forget to put it in the prize envelope when the time comes. So that was just a quickie for today. Couple of stitch markers, couple of bracelets. I need to make some plans as to what I'd like to make next for the silent auction for the festival. I've got 6 book sleeves, 6 little snap pouches, a drawstring bag, and the denim lace pouch so far. So what's that? 14 items, and it's only day 12. So I'm ahead of the game for an average of more than 1 a day. So I need to think about what I can do, maybe on the weekend, because I won't have time tomorrow to do a batch sewing thing. I'm working 9 to 5, and I very much doubt there'll be a huge amount of sewing in the evening because I'll be pretty tired. So I'll plan something for the weekend. So I think I'm going to go upstairs, grab a cup of tea, put a snack in my bag for when I'm at work later, and maybe do a little research on my YouTube library at all of the bag tutorials I've saved over the years, and see what I'd like to make next. Thanks for being here again today, and I'll see you again tomorrow with something else.